Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today's video comes as a request. This is a 2021 Honda Passport. And here's the thing, while the person who made the request, if you're watching the video, you might say, I wanted to see the top trim level of the Passport. This was the highest trim level available at Holmes Honda. It is a touring, not an elite. And speaking of that, I'll list all of the trim levels of the Passport on the screen so you can see the trim levels and their base prices. So let's go over very quickly what the differences are between touring and elite. You're going to find things such as wireless charging, heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated front seats, power heated folding side view mirrors, and there are a couple of other features as you can see on the screen right now between those two trim levels. Other than that, basically everything else is here. These are power folding side view mirrors. You can use remote start for the engine. There are a plethora of safety features. It does have Honda sensing, so not hurting in that area by any means whatsoever. For 2021 with the Passport, there are no changes. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because the Passport is a reliable vehicle. It's very functional. It does have its sporty characteristics, definitely has plenty of interior and cargo space, and it's comfortable. And like I said, a lot of great safety features, Honda sensing among others. I showed that list earlier. And here on the front end, you do have a very nice, stylish front end. I do like the black grille with the black surround trim. You do have LED lights. Everywhere you'll find a light. Headlights, daytime running lights, fog lights on the lower portion of the bumper, and the tail lights are also LED as well. And a nice overall look with the lines of the hood and everything that you see here. Roof rails on top. You've got a power sunroof up there, and while it's not a panoramic sunroof, maybe that's what we'll see in the future. We'll have to wait and see when there is a refresh of the Passport. And while the Passport isn't something that you would pick up for use as a high-performance vehicle, well, unless you wanted to race somebody else in a Passport, you're probably not going to win a lot of drag races, although the 3.5-liter V6 under the hood does put out 280 horsepower, so it has enough horsepower to definitely get the job done no matter what the payload or the capacity of passengers may be. It has features such as intelligent traction management and hill start assist. It is available in all-wheel drive, although this model comes in front-wheel drive. And the estimated gas mileage, 20 miles per gallon city, 25 out on the highway, and you don't have a CVT transmission. I know a lot of the Honda vehicles are going to that, and a lot of people have said, I'd rather not have that. Not a problem here. It is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Got those paddle shifters on the steering wheel if you're feeling kind of sporty and want to have a little bit of fun, especially when you're going out drag racing those other Passports you find on the road. When it comes to the overall exterior look of this model, the black trim you're going to see all over, whether it's the roof rails, the trim around the windows, or the trim on the body itself. You've also got the black mirrors that just seems to fit. And like I said, even though this isn't an elite, it does have a lot of the same features and functionality you would find on the elite trim level, including those power folding side view mirrors. As you can see, the turn signal indicator built in right there. Very useful, especially in tight situations when it comes to parking wherever you may be. Maybe you have a tight space in your garage. That's very helpful. And when you walk up to the rear of a model such as this and you're wondering, does it have that hands-free power tailgate? Here it is right here. That's the dead giveaway. You've got the instructions that tell you how to operate that. Very easy. And a little tip for you here on how that works. If you notice the time that it took for that to actually happen, the whole process to begin happening, it wasn't just like that. I know for me, there have been times in the past where I would touch the bottom of the bumper and it didn't happen fast enough. I'd do it again and basically reverse the process and it would stay closed. So just follow those instructions on the tailgate itself. Touch the bottom of the bumper where that sensor is located down there and step back, let it open, let it do its thing. Now let's talk a little bit about cargo space and even towing capacity or towing capability as far as this model goes. If you want to do some light towing, well, you most certainly can if you have the proper towing package with your Passport. You can maximize your cargo space, of course, by folding down the rear seats here, and it's definitely plentiful, and you can do that automatically. There's a button on each side of the rear cargo area here that allows you just to push that. The seats are automatically going to fold down. Now, you don't have the ability to raise them back up. You have to do that by hand. Do it manually. Not a big deal, just so you know. But here's something else. Kind of like having that 9-speed automatic transmission instead of the CVT. Something else I know a lot of you have told me about in the comments on previous videos. You don't like having a vehicle that does not have a spare tire. Well, here's the good news. You've got storage underneath the floor. When you open up this rear area, you might look and say, oh, there's no spare tire. You look underneath, no spare tire. In case you've got the spare tire located under the floor right here. So it is there, but as you can see, you have to raise up kind of a second section of that floor to get to it, but it's there nonetheless. Give you that sense of security, and like I said, I know a lot of you like that and favor the spare tire over that tire repair kit that we see in some other vehicles. And what will your rear seat passengers find? Well, there's actually a decent amount of room back here. You can kind of see the headspace that I have at 5'10". If I sit up all the way, that's pretty much where we are. If I was a little 6 foot or above, well, it might be a little bit tight, but not bad for my particular height. A couple of cup holders built into the doors, and this model does have tri-zone climate control, as you can control the temperature back here for your rear air conditioning vents right here on the back of the console, as well as heated seats. A nice feature back here. It'd be nice to have heated and ventilated for your rear seat passengers, wouldn't it? Even though the front seat passengers just have heated as well. But that is always a good feature to have, especially down here in the south. And connectivity, 115 volt power outlet down there on the bottom of the console, and 2 USB ports. Of course, quite a bit of storage here, door bins, map pockets on the rear of the seats. And of course, you're going to have that fold down armrest. You have a total of 4 cup holders back here, 2 on each door and 2 right here on the fold down armrest. And let's get into the real business aspect of the Passport. The front seat, especially here on the driver's side, everything nice and comfortable. You do have the adjustable armrest, so if you put that all the way down and you decide it's not high enough, all you gotta do is just raise it up. It's gonna stay in place, and you can reset that by pulling it all the way back and then bringing it all the way back down. Of course, you've got all your controls here. Seat memory, 2 different settings for the driver's side. All your controls for the mirrors and folding the mirrors in and out, all that stuff is right here on the left-hand side of the dashboard. Your steering wheel mounted controls, you can go through a lot of information there on the dashboard. And of course, like I said, there are those shifter paddles on the steering wheel. A lot of features and functionality here. Everything's very easy to get to. Honda's infotainment system, and while that hasn't changed, just like I said, no changes for 2021, but you've got a very easy system to use. And I really like the way that the navigation system works. That's actually through Garmin GPS, and it gives you a nice live view basically of the road you're traveling on. And I realize there are different ways that can work, but this is what we have here with the Passport. Still very effective. Push button start. Of course, you've got your dual zone climate control here in the front. Like I said, tri-zone, because you have dual in the front, single in the rear. Heated seats, that's where your controls are. And if you had wireless charging, it would be here underneath the connectivity. You've got a 12 volt power outlet and another USB port right there. Push button shifter, and you have more cup holders right there, as well as a pretty deep console here. It's got that sliding door, almost like a garage type door on the top, instead of something you would open and close like this. And more connectivity in there, USB ports and another power outlet. 1 USB port, I should say, so get that right so we don't get hit by the correction Nazis on YouTube blowing up my comments section. But that's what you have there, and a reasonable amount of space. So ultimately, I have to say, high marks here as far as the way everything works with the Passport Touring. But let's see how it rides and drives. Let's get it out on the road for a test drive. when it comes to driving the Passport, it is a very comfortable SUV to drive, and obviously has a lot of great features and functionality. And even though some haven't been updated for a few years, I don't know that it's quite time for that yet, but I am, like I said earlier in the video, interested to see what Honda has coming as far as maybe future infotainment systems and features such as that. And if you do step up to the Elite, you're going to get that heated steering wheel, which can come in very handy. We had a lot of snow recently here in northwest Louisiana, and that would have been very helpful to have on those cold, snowy, icy days. And of course, all-wheel drive, you couldn't get around without it. And knowing that you have that with the Passport, a reasonable amount of horsepower under the hood, 280 horsepower, it's going to do great for you in those situations and others. It does have some light off-roading capabilities, obviously not a ton, but I would be interested to know if any of you watching this video have ever taken a Passport off-road. Well, how serious of an off-roading excursion was that? Tell me down in the comments. I'm very curious to know. Everything is just nice and responsive. Now, I will say that you can go in and turn off a lot of the safety features, and you might find that maybe something such as lane keep assist or something along those lines is maybe a little bit aggressive for your personal liking, and you might say, is there a way to adjust the aggressiveness? Everything I've seen as far as just glancing through the infotainment system, you can go into settings and make changes in those areas, but basically it's either on or it's off. So just something to consider. Not really a bad thing in either direction. It would be nice to see maybe settings where you could go to something that's less aggressive or more aggressive, maybe small, medium, large, so to speak. But obviously that would likely drive the price point up too, and I don't think the price point of the Passport on the touring trim level, as I showed you on the screen earlier, by the way, when I show the screenshots from Holmes Honda, the price is always there. So just so you know, and I'll show that later in the video. Again, if you want to see that, it will be there. And there is, of course, a link to this model down in the description of the video. And as long as it's in inventory, you click on that link, you're going to be able to check it out. And if it just goes to the inventory page, you know it's been sold. So overall, everything is nice, decent acceleration, even though I'm going downhill here. But you can hear that 6-cylinder go to work. And I like the fact that even though you got a decent amount of exhaust note right there when I drop the hammer just to do a little acceleration test, you don't have a lot of road noise. The cabin is relatively quiet. You pick up a little bit, but it's not bad by any means. And especially if you were talking to somebody, you had the radio playing, it would pretty much cancel that out altogether. A very enjoyable driving experience overall. Steering wheel is nice and responsive, comfortable. I like the fact that the brakes work extremely well, but the braking system doesn't include an overly aggressive brake pedal. That's never a good thing to have to get used to. So I like the fact that it's really kind of a nice little balance there. It's somewhat on the soft side as far as when you push down on it, but that doesn't mean that the brakes are soft. It's always nice to adjust to that. That is, unless you're coming from a vehicle that maybe had overly aggressive brakes. But overall, definitely high marks for the Honda Passport. And if you're wondering about, can you turn off that auto stop start feature, because I just noticed the engine shut off there, and push the button down there, you can turn that off if you want to. And that is a tour of the 2021 Honda Passport Touring. Tell me what you'd like to see me feature in my next video here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel. Thanks to Holmes Honda for loaning me this model for the day. If you happen to go to Holmes Honda to buy this model or anything else, make sure to tell the salesman that you work with that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you over. And I appreciate all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.